Dropper post remotes. Who doesn't have one today? I know I've used the Woolf Tooth, I've used the 9.8, the KS-Love, the Bond Trigger, and a couple of others. But with the introduction of the Shimano 12-speed XTR, they introduced this, the MT800 dropper post remote. So why don't we take a closer look and see if it's something worth considering. And to make this more meaningful, I thought I would give you a comparison with the Woolf Tooth ReMOTE, which is kind of a standard in the industry. I've been using that on the SB100 for the last little while, and by doing a clean swap, hope to uncover any ergonomics improvements or any other benefits that we might have by using the Shimano one instead. This looks more like an SLX box than an XTR, but if you look carefully here, you'll see that this is made in Japan, and SLM800IL is the actual code for the product. On the flip side, part number again, Optislick cable, I-Spec EV is the attachment, introduced with the 12 speed, adjustments galore, cross country and enduro recommended, and this comes in two flavors, with or without the housing SP41. In the box, the same piece of paper telling us to go online for everything. Here's the remote. This would be the I-Spec EV attachment, housing, and inner cable. Housing length is not specified anywhere. It's 150 centimeters or 59 inches, and this is the SP41 housing. For those concerned with weight, the remote itself is 36 grams. You would need that I-Spec EV adapter. That makes it 41 grams. And if I add cable and housing, here's your 105 or 107 grams altogether. On this bike, I have the new XT brakes that I reviewed recently on my channel. I-Spec EV requires a new attachment mechanism, but Woolf Tooth is really good at providing pretty much anything you can think of. In this case, I had to use this kit, ISEV-CONV-KIT. You can find it on their website or in the description below. My only problem with this is if you look at the angle here of the remote paddle relative to your brake lever on the brakes, you will see that it's quite an angle between the two. I can only move the remote further down or away from your thumb. I cannot move it up any further than that because of the limitations of the attachment to the bar clamp over here. So if you need to angle this any higher, you cannot really do it with the remote. Just like the Woolf Tooth, the Shimano remote has a big bearing over here on that pivot. You can see the branding. Barrel adjuster is made out of aluminum as well. Black paint covering it all. The lever has grooves, however it doesn't have a rubber insert like the other XT or XTR shifters. And if we are to look at them side by side, you're gonna see that the Woolf Tooth lever is slightly bigger, and because of its finish, it might provide better grip compared to the Shimano one. The other thing that is noticeable here is, you see how the Woolf Tooth is flapping around? If you look at the Shimano, this one has a spring inside, so even if you have a little bit of slack in your inner cable, which you should on a remote, this will stay nicely into place. So that's something that I like. The cable is going to be held in place using this pinch bolt 4mm to tighten that up. And you can see Japan and the product code again. It feels nicer in my hand compared to the remote. This extra piece that was in the box slides right here into the bar clamp of your brake, and that becomes a nut that will hold this lever into place. I used the 3mm Allen on that tightening bolt, and you can see the side to side 14mm of adjustment, and also here the up and down angle, this is 60 degrees. Also for installation, the Shimano nut already has Loctite on it. With only this nut provided by Shimano, it's easy to understand why they only work with the new 12-speed generation of Shimano brakes that use the I-Spec EV standard. As opposed to that, Woolf Tooth gives you all the attachments you can think of, attaching to all the Shimano brakes, current and old, and all the other brake manufacturers, and they include a bar clamp as well. The installation is super simple. Insert that nut into the bar clamp, use a 3mm Allen to attach the remote to it, and finally run the cable through the remote and attach it with the pinch bolt. And here it is installed. Yoo-hoo! 7mm of pull operates my Fox transfer, no problem, but this is a universal remote, so you work with any other. The cable is terminated right down here, which is not as good as the Woolf Tooth ReMOTE. However, what I prefer here is the Ergonomics. For some reason, this feels better to my big thumb, and I could angle this higher or lower if I want to. So Ergonomics alone, I think this one wins. The remote still has this breakaway axle because it's made out of plastic, so if you crash and you pull on the lever hard, it's not going to damage it. That's something that Shimano doesn't have. Also, I think I kind of prefer the way the cable end is routed right here behind the lever on the remote, but hey, we can't have them all in this life, can we? However, when it comes to ergonomics, I mean, this is actually pretty bad for the I-Spec EV. So if you are to use new Shimano brakes, whether it's SLX, XT, XTR with I-Spec EV, I would definitely not recommend using the Woolf Tooth with their adapter. I would probably go for the bar clamp, or even better, get the new Shimano lever, because this is nice and really smooth. I really like it. And that's the end of my little comparison, folks. If you found this useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. And until next time, hope to see you on the trails, hopefully riding with a Shimano ReMOTE. Cheers, guys. Cheers.